This show is brought to you by The Makery, the podcast network for makers.
Welcome to Knife Talk, the first Knife Talk which we're doing live with video. Well, we did last week with Dharma Steel, but that was slightly different. So we're going to try something very different. It's going to be fun. If you're just listening to the audio, it's fine. We're going to make this an audio podcast. But yeah, if those who do want to listen in live, they can also see our pretty faces and watch me get drunker and drunker through each episode as well, which is always fun. So, guys, how are we? Let's start with Jeff this week. How are we?
I'm amazed that all the work that you've done. This is incredible. So my hat's off to you. And I'm wearing a hat. You can see that I'm not wearing a hat. So fine. I tell you, the Dharma Steel event was so amazing, and I know we're going to go talk about that because it would be hard not to. It was such an incredible experience. But before we get to that, it was a good week. I worked my brains out. I was hand sanding a ton of knives, and I just actually finished 2 minutes ago, which is great. And I had a funny thing happen. I got a message early from a good friend of mine who owns one of these facilities, and they're able to they do these like games and stuff like that. So one of the things they have like these axe throwing lanes. So you go in and you rent space out and you're able to throw these axes. Well, apparently none of the axes were sticking in the wood. So I got this call and I said, "Hey, listen, can you help me out with something? I have these axes for this thing, and nobody's able to use the axes. The axes are, they're spending money on renting the space, and then the axes aren't sticking in the wood."
What were they, blunt?
So yeah, bring one over. To the listener, I'm a little bit. I've got to say, this is incredible with the video and stuff like that. I've got to just control myself a little bit. So I sharpened up the axes, and then they said, "Come meet us down here, and let's figure out what the problem is." The axes were sharp, and then they couldn't throw it in, and is it the wood? What kind of wood is this? Poplar? Maybe we should use pine. Maybe we should. And all of a sudden, I just turned to like the CEO and the manager, and I said, maybe all this artificial glory isn't for everybody. Maybe this isn't easy, and this isn't for everybody, and maybe we shouldn't be. And I started to kind of like think about how the fact that you're supposed to be this big guy, and you're throwing the wood and the axe into the wood and stuff like that, and it just became this kind of like. And then it turned out to be that they were the wrong axes. It was like the stupidest thing. So that was my axe talk.
I did see a knife that you shipped this week. Again with all the colors and so on. Very, very nice with your green and blue colors.
Yeah, that went to this. I wasn't gonna. This is one. We have people. This is great. This is amazing. So yeah, it went out to this great chef, Elon Hall. He was the first winner of Top Chef. Great dude, and I was super. He was super pumped, and then we started talking about the old days in the restaurant business and people we knew and stuff like that. So
you say super humped or super pumped?
Repeat, please. One more time.
I said, did you say super humped or super pumped?
No, I didn't say super humped. No, I said super pumped.
Sure about that?
He was pretty pumped. He was pretty pumped. So yeah, it was a good weekend. Busy, and it was great. It was great. I'm a little distracted, to be honest with you. This is distracting because I'm really used to just like sitting in the car so people can't see me roll my eyes or move or do anything, and it's gonna take some getting used to. But I'm amazed. It
is gonna take some getting used to, definitely. But Mareko, what about your week? How's it been?
The Dharma Steel thing was, as Jeff already said, it was pretty cool and a fun experience. And, I think you guys were also saying it too. Like the time just flew by, like 3 hours felt like nothing. And Craig, obviously, hats off to you. You did such a phenomenal job.
Well, go on then. Take the hat off.
Yeah, you did. Okay. So I'll just say.
There we go.
You did such a great job. Thank you so much. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. You made it fun. I thought you did a great job. Like Jeff said last week, you did a great job with pair and just like making sure everything ran really well. And it was great. So before I get into my week, though, I wanted to mention a couple of quick things that I've been seeing on Instagram really quick is like so the New England School of Metalwork always holds a hammer in. I think it's usually in like early July or something like that. And they're not doing it this year. So if
Oh,
you
okay.
had plans to do that, it's not happening. They're looking into and trying to figure out plans for getting things good for next year, but right now that's off the table. Second thing, Dr. Dave Darome. I probably screwed that up, which is terrible because he just passed away. He is an author. He's a custom knife collector. If you've ever seen like the art of knife making or the art of custom folding knives or any of those kind of different books, he put together and published all those books. He's from Israel, and he just has been a huge supporter and proponent of the knife community and the craft, and he just recently passed away, which is a huge bummer. The last big thing is Jordan Lamont. So Jordan Lamont is a maker out of New York State, and he got a scholarship or an award. It's like a fellowship award. It's called the Fulbright Award, and he's going to be traveling and spending time in India. I think it's something like a month or a couple months. I don't know how long exactly, but he's going to be learning this art form called kafgari, which is essentially where you take the surface of your metal and you rough it up, and then you kind of overlay precious metal like silver, gold. You can do copper. You can do all. And a lot of the kafgari I've ever seen are on large like Indian swords, like a talwar, or all these other crazy and like insane, really like super curvaceous swords or anything like that. So congratulations to him. So the biggest thing for me this past week has been I put a knife up for raffle, and that went really, really well.
You raised a lot of money, didn't you?
A lot of money.
Cool.
Let's see if I can remember. It was $3,397.43.
Wow.
And yeah, totally blew me away. And it was all towards helping the Aloha United Way. They have an emergency flood relief fund going on right now, and so that was super awesome. And I want to give all the thanks to everybody who has supported either through donating or through helping share that I had it going. It was all very last second. Like my sister got a hold of me, and like the next day I posted the thing, and then 3 days later we did the raffle. Like there was no planning around this.
So who won? Who won? Share the details.
Jessie Ueda.
Well,
She's the winner, the big winner chicken dinner. I'm so I'm glad that it's for everybody's support, and that I'm sure anybody it went to would really love and appreciate it. But I know she, as a maker, can really appreciate the effort and the skill that goes into creating something like this, which was a little brute forge bench knife. So last year when I did my Forge and Play series, before I even started like planning, kind of scripting that out and figuring out all just like how I was going to the order of operations and filming and stuff like that, I just did one and took notes as I was moving along. And I happened to have this piece of tidal wave mosaic Damascus that was like in the perfect little bar form to just do it with. And so I just did it, and it came out great. And so it's kind of been laying around the shop for the last year. And I've been trying to figure out, if I was going to sell it, or I don't know what I was going to do, or if I was going to keep it. And then this all happened with the fundraiser, and I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's put it out there. And so again, Thank you everybody who helped support that. I really appreciate it.
No, it's a cool thing to do, to give your work, essentially giving your work away for charity, which is very cool.
For sure.
Very cool.
It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So my week, fits and starts. Very little time in the shop this week. Basically, between the two houses, we got a lot of stuff on. So the big news was my two little girls started. Well, they didn't start school this week. They went to school for the first time to meet the teachers and so on, ready for when they start in September. It was heartbreaking to see them going into school and knowing that we're not going to be spending all days with them. But the school was cool, but it's very different here in France compared to schools in the UK. So in the UK, they'd give them a couple of hours for the first day and all the rest of it. In France, they're long days, so it's 8:30 till 4:30. They just go in all day. They have a room where the kids sleep because they're only two. So, they sleep in the day. So they have a room, and it's like a refugee center. It was terrible. There was just like mattresses all over the floor. Oh, it was, yeah. It wasn't the nicest, so it was something we need to get used to. What else?
How long do they
Knife-wise,
go? How long do they go for?
they'll be going 4 days a week.
But how many hours a day?
Full days, 8:30 to 4:30.
That's a
Yeah.
long day.
Long,
a long
long
day.
day. Yeah.
It's a long day for a little kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. And for us, not having them around because we generally spend every minute of the day with them. So it's going to be
Right.
tough, but it's good that it needs to happen. They need to grow up, that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's cool. Knife wise, I'm gonna have 2 knives for sale next week. So in between all these restaurant orders that I've been doing, I've got 2 knives that I'm just about to finish this weekend. One is called Alien DNA. And again, these one-offs knives that I do, they've always got some sort of theme. So this one is called Alien DNA, and one is called Super Light. And hopefully they'll both be available on Monday. The Super Light's got carbon fiber handles. It's really, really nice actually. But
Cool.
and the Alien DNA's got this crazy, crazy, crazy handle. But yeah, what else? I'm doing a live Instagram next week with a chef that I've been working with. He's got 2 Michelin star restaurants in the UK. Tommy Banks, he's always on the TV, that kind of thing. And I've supplied both of his restaurants now, thankfully. And a chef knife for him as well. So he wants to chat about how they're made, that kind of thing. So we can do a live together with his audience in mind. So something I've never done before, but should be quite fun. But that's it. That's my sort of knife news for the week, really. Yeah, and we're doing this, which is bizarre. Being able to see your faces, it's really, really strange.
This
really
is
strange.
This
I'm
is
better off
amazing
without seeing
because
you guys' faces usually.
this is the perfect segue to go into Damasteel because the last episode was probably one of our best episodes just because there was so much going on. But now Craig is, you're a genius. You decided to take the great experience we had at Damasteel and kind of bring it here, which is going to be fun, make it fun.
Matt Coates has just said he's only here to watch me get drunk in the comments there.
This is the problem. So I don't know how you're going to, in the future, how you're going to be able to do this so people can watch it live, but there is a chat on the side. So we can we can see all the things that people are saying. Gary Woe's in the house, Aubrey Hummer, Matt Coates, Gary Wah, Matt, Aaron McVeigh, Double D Knives, Moonshine Metalworks. We can see all these people, but I don't know how we can interact. We can't type. I can't unless you can.
I can. I don't know. What, yeah, you can't. Maybe.
It's fine.
I can.
It's better off that.
Yeah.
But we'll
yeah.
figure it
I
out.
don't think there's any point. We can see them and we can talk back to them, which is
Right.
Which is cool. So, sorry, Jeff. Go on.
I was clumsily putting into the whole. So the last episode we were going to have an episode on Friday. It didn't. There's a couple things. The audio was no good, but then all of a sudden we had such a good time at Damasteel. It didn't make sense to kind of push off Damasteel. So you made the right call, Craig, and we put the Damasteel show up on Monday, and it was awesome. It was an awesome show, and I got to hand it to you, man. You crushed it. You really crushed it.
3 hours just disappeared, didn't they? Really, really quickly. I was thinking, how are we going to fill 3 hours? But it happened very quick. We didn't even get a chance to speak to everybody. And at the end, we were trying to rush people in for chats and giving them a few minutes. It was hectic, but it was real good fun. Really enjoyed it.
The part I felt the worst about is so the whole thing is Damasteel did Damasteel did an amazing job. Damasteel did a really amazing job, and they, we were going to talk about the fact that they didn't charge the attendees, which is amazing. They didn't charge the invited knife makers. They didn't
the exhibitors.
They didn't take a cut at the end, and
Oh, wow.
it was a great experience. It was an awesome experience. The part that made me very anxious, and I didn't think it would, was because all the knife makers had their own booths. And then when they had their own booths, they had to man their booths. So if they came on to our show or decided to watch our show, I was feeling like this nervousness, like this nervous mother saying, you should go back to your booth. You should be selling knives. What are you doing here? Why are you having fun? This isn't supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be selling knives. You don't have much time left. I got very anxious about it.
We tried our best to sort of help them and push people to their booths, but we wanted to be the kitchen of the party, didn't we? We wanted to be the cool place where people would come, we could all have a laugh, and I think it worked. They've invited us back again, so that should be good.
That's a perfect analogy. The kitchen of the party.
Yeah, I think that's where all the cool stuff happens.
That's where Fingal came in drunk. Fingal came in. He's
Yeah.
all done. He's done, and he's just like, all right, let's tie one up.
Yeah. Craig Bell, is that homebrew you're drinking? It's not, unfortunately. That's all in the other house now. So I've got like a portable keg system here. So yeah, straight from the keg. Yeah, Fingal had a very good show, didn't he? He he sold out all his knives, which is incredible. So yeah, you could tell he had that excitement coursing through his veins when he came onto the show, and it was all good. All good.
The one thing I'd say, the reason why it went so well, I felt like it was like a perfect storm. And one of the reasons why is because we actually knew most of the knife makers, which is, we knew most of them. I mean, I would say we'd either talk to or interact with about 75% of the exhibitors. And the fact that they had to be there helped too. I mean, we had everybody on for the most part, and then they had them on all the time. And I don't think it would have worked if they weren't forced to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure some of the people listening now, and maybe even some of the people in the chat, were there. Did anybody see Tyler at all? Tyler Florence? Because there's rumors he didn't turn up. There's rumors he did. Nobody really knows.
I poked around because that was the whole thing. We promoted Tyler Florence, and where is this guy? So I did poke around with Damasteel. Damasteel sent me this real nice message. I think he probably sent it to all of us. And then we were having this nice conversation, and the fact remains that they told us that we raised the attendees by 45%, which is astonishing.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Congratulations to us because we brought the people in. But then all of a sudden it's just like, where's Tyler? So I thought, well, let me go ask, because as far as I was concerned, nobody saw him. And then I sent this message that took maybe a couple of extra days to get responded back. I think they were trying to figure out the right wording, but he said, "Oh,
they were being political."
Yeah, he was. Something happened, but then he was over with Galen, and I was like, I'll leave it alone. But it was just like, as far as I was concerned, I was just like, nothing. So
Steve, Moonshine Metalworks, just said that he's in his kitchen at the moment making fish tacos using one of Jeff's knives.
Yeah.
It's okay, Steve. We know who your favorite is. It's fine. It's fine. Myself and Marco may have knives available too. I'm just saying. But
if Alex Pohl reached out to you to make knives for his crew, then that would have been a different story, wouldn't it?
It would have been. It certainly would have been. Yeah, yeah. So, shall we get on with like the main part of the show? What we're here to do, really, which is to sell our advertisers.
Knife Talk is sponsored by Even Heat, the manufacturers of the finest heat treat ovens available. To find your next oven, go to evenheat-kiln.com.
And actually don't go to Soul Ceramics, because they're an Even Heat distributor, and we can get you a discount. We can get you $75 off and free shipping in the States. If you go to knifetalk.net/heat, it'll take you to Soul Ceramics, and it'll automatically apply all those discounts for you. So go there. You can spec out the machine that you want. They'll build it for you, and they'll ship it to you for free if you're in the States. Even if you're not in the States, you can still get your $75 off. So go do it. There we go. Shall we take some questions?
Sure. And
hey, man, can I ask you a question?
So we could also, at this point, we could take questions from the chat.
We can. In fact, I'm going to take this one because this is obviously directed to me. Craig, I'm still waiting on my steak knives. Dylan, send me an email is probably best. Rather than contact. This is the problem of having a show like this, isn't it? Yeah, send me an email and I'll see what's going on with your order. Cheers.
Oh, jeez.
We're taking customer service
podcast. Oh, my God.
I've got
I swear.
a customer service story to say, which was going to be a beef, but I'm going to do it now. We're getting internet sorted in the new house, and you need to use Orange over here. They're Orange. They supply all the phone lines and all the rest of it. So they should have been here last week. I took the whole day off. They couldn't give me a time of day, so I needed to be there for 8:30 in the morning, and I'd spend all day there. They didn't arrive. So I called up on Monday and said, look, you didn't come. They said, okay, we're coming tomorrow. Went there the whole day, didn't come. So then I phoned up and I said, well, what's going on? They said, well, no apologies at all. And they were like, well, we can get somebody out to you. They'll give you a phone call within 10 days and they'll come out. I'm like, well, what's different? Because they haven't come out the last 2 times. I can't afford to take any more time off work. And she said, oh, nothing different. That's just the way we do things. And I'm like, well, this can't happen. And she said, well, maybe, Mr. Lockwood, this isn't the service for you. And that was it, and cancelled the whole order.
Oh,
Is that the worst
Holy
customer
shit.
service ever? It was...
Oh my
yeah,
god.
not a good one. Not a good one. So yeah, Orange, France, you're not in my good books.
ugh.
Jeremy Dingman, Morocco, unblock me on Instagram. I've got a brand new account when I followed
I-
you.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up right now.
This is
I
gonna
don't even
take some
see them on
time.
Instagram. That's the problem. They don't have a handle. It's not
This is
the
gonna
handle
take
isn't
some
Jeremy
time for us to
Dingerman. It's
figure out.
probably
This is
Jeremy
gonna take some time
Dingleberry.
for us to figure out, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing customer service for this first half an hour.
this is
Right.
gonna be now. This we have to keep account of how many people you have to like unblock, because now that's 2. You've had two
Morocco, yeah.
two beggings.
Just to be
for forgiveness.
clear, usually the reason I block people is because they're excessively tagging me in their posts
Right,
instead of me just naturally seeing the posts or
right.
whatever. They're tagging me to make sure that I see it, and I'm like, listen, I'm
But you
sorry, I
can-
got like
But now
Jeremy
here's your chance, listeners,
Dingman.
to
Okay,
to
alright.
beg for forgiveness.
Beg for it back.
Now you
Yeah.
can beg for forgiveness. So it'll be it'll be great.
Let's go back to
Hey,
our main
man.
thing, which is
Can I ask you a question?
questions. We've had lots of questions during the week via Instagram DMs. So if you've got a question to ask us,
Contact us via DM at Knife Talk Podcast on Instagram. It's that easy.
it's like we've got Brian right here with us, isn't it? Jeff, do you want to read out the first one?
Yes. Here we are. The first one comes from Andy Beatty. Andy Beatty says, "Hey guys, I've got a question. When grinding without a rest, does the direction of your belt is Andy, when the grinding without a rest, is the direction of your belt change the work being done on your knife? So does belt direction make a difference?"
I only ever grind with the belt coming down towards the floor. So to me, it would make a huge difference because I never grind the other way. Morocco, do you ever reverse your belt for any reason?
I never reverse the belt, but I do grind my blade edge up and edge down. And the blade or the belt does grind kind of it engages slightly differently. So say the belt is running vertically like it normally does, going down. If you were to zoom in like with a microscope or something, what you would see is the belt kind of bumping out a little bit as it slows down from coming into contact with your blade. And what that does is it just changes the way it interacts with the material. But on the bottom side of that, it's just running straight free. And so that's why sometimes I'll grind edge up, or if I need to refine things, then I'll actually flip the blade edge down. If I'm trying to get a finer geometry, then I'll grind edge down, because with an edge up, that little bump will give you a false sense of thinness because the belt's binding up. But you could actually probably go twice as thin if you turn the edge down and grind the edge down.
Right. Okay. I've never even thought of that, grinding the other way. My thing is always the visual side. If you're above the knife looking down, I can see what I'm grinding.
Yeah, when you're edge down, it's definitely blind, and it's more of a feel thing. But I'm not standing there just like hogging forever. I'll make contact for a couple seconds, and then I'll look, and then I'll grind some more, and I'll look, and so I'm checking like every 2-3 seconds.
Yeah,
because it is more of a feel thing for sure.
that's what she said.
God, this is gonna be the end of us.
That was a cheap one.
The one thing I notice is when I've been doing more freehand grinding, I freehand grind all now, that I usually go from the left side and then I switch hands and go from the right side. And sometimes I do notice that my left side moves in a different pattern. So I'm getting 2 different belt it's just the direction of it's not the direction of the belt. It's my arm. It's like the different, like the dominant arm is doing something a little bit, tiny bit different than the
Yeah, I know what you mean.
lesser arm.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, I'm just looking through the comments here, and we see the YouTube and the Facebook comments together. And Sean, I'll just put it up here. Sean has just said, "I like this," and it's the irony of being on Facebook and actually typing "I like this" when you can literally press the like button, which is quite funny. Yeah. Anyway, that was just my sense of humor. We've got a question here from Bernard, which has literally just come through. Newbie here, really enjoying the podcast, but listening backwards, so it's like a time machine. Craig, it's France. What do you expect? Yeah, you're completely right. Everything is pretty slow here. So Bernard's just started, and he's going backwards. They're going to get progressively worse for you, Bernard. You might want to. You might want to miss a few months, maybe.
yeah, definitely. That's hilarious.
When you guys start a new podcast, do you listen to whatever episode turned you on to that podcast and then jump to the back, or you just kind of listen progressively backwards, or how do you listen?
Oh, that was like a proper YouTuber then, Morocco. Getting engagement. I like it.
Well, I'm asking you guys too. I know you both listen to podcasts.
I generally listen to the most recent, and if it's good, I'll then go back. But if I go back, I'll generally go back to like episode 1, season 1 kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because quite often there's in jokes and references that would develop over time. But yeah, and in fact, I did that this week. So I was listening to Louis Theroux. Do you know Louis Theroux in the States?
You'd mentioned, I'd heard of him before. Yeah,
he's a documentary maker in the UK, but he goes to the States to do a lot of his stuff. But he's great because he plays really, really dumb, but he's very, very intelligent. So he plays dumb and he gets like the best interviews, that kind of thing. And he's done this podcast called Grounded for the BBC. And the whole idea is he's at home and he's doing this podcast and he gets other sort of celebrities, I suppose. But most of them are like quite friendly with him. He already knows them. So because they're at home as well, it's a real sort of, it's a phone call between two friends almost. And they get really candid. It's really nice, really nice. It's so yeah. So sorry, back to the question. I would listen to the most recent, and if I like it, I'd go back to season 1, episode 1.
Sure. Yeah, I do the same thing. Unless it's something like I listen to like some news or economy or business podcasts too. And so when I'm doing those, I'm trying to listen to whatever's most recent because they're obviously time sensitive.
Yeah.
But otherwise, when it's more kind of like telling stories or conversation, you can kind of start all over. And I do like going back to the beginning though, usually. And
yeah,
same thing you do.
We've got Double D Knives here. I started episode 1 of Knife Talk and worked my way all the way to this live. The only podcast I've done that for. Wow, thank you, Double D Knives.
Sorry, son of a bitch, you.
Yeah.
A lot of episodes.
We've got a question in the chat here for you, Jeff.
Okay.
Is Jeff in the passenger seat or the driver's seat?
Jeff is in the driver's seat. So I actually have a really nice chair that I'm super uncomfortable sitting in. And this Jeep has got the leather seats. It's clean. It sounds good. And now I'm kind of lighting it from the outside. And I'm most comfortable here. And it's like a lounge chair and I'm comfortable. And I'm going to be in this Jeep until it's dead.
If you had good cell signal, you could do this mobile. You could go like through a car wash. You could do all these things.
See, the problem is then you'd hear like all the nonsense. See, the whole thing is it's a room inside of a room.
Yeah.
And it's like you hear, like I can't even have the outside door because you hear the fire engines.
Yeah. You'd be the James Corden of the knife world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Carpool karaoke, right?
Does anybody need any more
So
James
good.
Corden? Jesus.
Fucking guy. I tell you, in regards to, Full Blast podcast, I try to make them standalone episodes.
Here we go.
Well, I took after you, Craig, you little bastard, you. Knife Talk was originally standalone episodes. So I thought I'd rather people have standalone episodes than something that you have to like, what is that? It's fun to listen to the podcast and then it's fun to know the people and you get to understand the people. And it's fun to like have the inside track, but some things are so inside that you have no idea what the hell's going on. So I really wanted it to be very like easy to do. And in the chat, by the way, there's a third person who now officially wants you to unblock him. Morocco.
I haven't seen
Matt
any.
Coates says benefits of watching the live
I'm
stream.
completely blind to that whole side.
Also, you don't see the chat. You don't see the chats at all.
No, I've been listening to your guys' conversation. I haven't been looking at
It's
the
all
chat.
distracting. It's all distracting.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while to figure this all out. But
Matt,
benefits
did
of
you mean dick pics instead of sick pics? Is that what you meant to type?
Yeah. So Matt Coates, that's the third person who's begging for forgiveness. I love that. That should be a whole bit. Who time to kiss the ring, kiss the ring and ask for forgiveness.
That's what she said. Okay, let's do
Hey, man,
another question.
can I ask you a question?
Do you want to read the next one, Mareko?
Yeah, this one's from Will Jacob. It says, "Hey man, I have a question. If you could pick anyone, what would be your ultimate collaboration between 2 to 3 makers?" This is for all 3 of you. My ultimate collaboration would be with Iron Maiden Forge, Andrea De Leon, and Leah
Arapoch.
Arapoch. I
Arapoch.
could not
Mm.
wrap my head around those letters. So is this us doing a collaboration with them or
no,
just 3?
You're picking your ultimate team that you're
Mm.
not involved with. So you're picking your
Right.
2 to 3 people that you like to see do a collaboration.
Sure. Do you guys know?
I'd like to have all 3 of the people who you blocked do a collaboration.
Put a special charity knife. That would be cool.
The beg for forgiveness knife. That's what I like
Yeah,
to see.
actually, you guys do a charity knife. I'll unblock you. I would like to see. So, one maker whose work I really, really admire is Andrew Mears. He's just incredibly talented. It's like out of this
Insane.
world.
Totally
It's insanity. It just doesn't even make sense. I would love to see him and Mike Quisenberry. And I'm trying to think who would be number 3.
They must have already done a collaboration together. They
I
must have.
don't think they have.
Mears
But
has
I would
done
like to
something with
see.
Jason
I'll
Knight.
throw somebody. Oh, Jason, what?
I'm sorry for interrupting. I mean, I think Mears did something with Jason Knight.
Yes, he has. That's true.
What about you, Jeff?
Can I
Go
talk
ahead.
again?
No, Mareko. I interrupted Mareko. What you were saying?
And then I think I would like to throw in like Lynn Ray. So both Mike Quisenberry and Lynn Ray are super talented forgers, but they forge very different styles, and I would like to see those 2 along with Andrew Mears kind of see what kind of magic all 3 of those guys could work.
Cool. Jeff, who you got?
I think I'm going to go outside.
Say.
Pardon me?
Your Mount Rushmore, as you would say.
I'm going to go not what you'd think. I'm going to go with I was going to go with Fred Krist is one of my favorite blacksmiths who I actually was fortunate enough to know. He's a traditional blacksmith. He was one of the last blacksmiths to run the Samuel Yellen shop. And he's just and he's a fine artist too. So he's really been able to straddle the fence in terms of traditional blacksmithing plus, fine arts and stuff like that. I'd like to get some non-knife makers to be in a collaboration. So I guess I could go Fred Krist. Then I would do Fred Krist. Let's go Fred Krist, Will Stelter, because how do you not like Will Stelter? He's such a great kid. Will Stelter, Fred Krist, and Don Wynn.
Nice.
There you go. That's my fucking. That'd be a wild
lineup.
Group. Wild group.
So we're not involved in this. We're not picking people who we'd like to work with. We're picking people who okay.
Right.
If we could get to see their process, yeah, mine would be very different to you two because I don't forge. I wouldn't say I'm not interested in forging in those styles of knives, but it's not my style at all. And what I'm particularly wanting to do now is sort of up my production without losing quality. And I think the people who do that amazingly well are Fingal, we've already mentioned. Amazing quality, and he does so many great knives, like every week. It's unbelievable. Toma, which we always mention, he has basically got a factory going there, churning out amazingly high quality knives. And Jeff, I think you too, because you've got this work ethic that I'd love to have, which I don't have. So if I get to see the process, I think you'd beat Jeff, Toma, and Fingal, and that'd be a hell of a party too. I'd want to go to the after show to that one. So, yeah, very different to you two guys. But mine is more about the sort of production, I suppose, as opposed to the final thing.
I forgot to tell you. When I went to Barcelona 2 years ago, I brought back some parts, and I actually put together this week a Florentine kitchen knife that I finished, but then with one of my handles, and it's gluing up right now. So I'm not gonna post it to sell it. It's gonna be there. There were some problems. I had some. This isn't something. I got enough problems. It's gonna stay with me. But it's it was I sent it to picture to him, and he kind of like freaked out. It was great.
It did look.
So-
I did see the picture. It looked.
Oh,
it
I
looks-
sent. Did I send it to you?
You did.
It's
yes.
like
yeah.
it's not 100% finished, but it's like it's gonna be there. There's some glue
So-
up to do.
It's
Now I
definitely
feel
yours.
left out. I never saw it.
I didn't know. I'll send it to you. I'll put it in the group chat. It's not. I mean, it wasn't. It was in not finished condition.
Yeah, it's definitely your style, but it's you
Right.
can see it's clearly Toma's work as well. So it's nice. It's very nice.
It's definitely weird.
Jamie.
Oh
has
wait,
just asked-
look another. We got another one. We have another one. I feel left out. Mareko, can you ban me on? Oh, people want to be banned by you, so they now Mareko. You have a
So they can
group-
be unbanned.
so they can be unbanned. Yeah.
James McKee, what are you drinking, Craig? That's a very French glass. It's not. It's a BrewDog glass, which is a very sort of UK or Scottish thing. But it's a very sort of classic beer glass, I suppose. But it's a French beer, so it's Pelfort, which is like cheap ass French beer. Unfortunately.
French PBR.
PVR. What's PBR?
PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon, baby.
Yeah. It's like kind of a notch below Budweiser.
Budweiser. Yeah.
Really? Oh,
I love
okay.
it. I mean, when I was drinking
I did.
beer, I loved it. But
Sandy. It's from Young Knives. We haven't heard from Sandy in a long, long time.
we
Evening,
got a
James.
lot of
Hope you're
people
well.
in the group chat. It's super cool. Timo's here. Young Knives. Jamie Mackey. Wyeg Knives from Australia. Matthew Angel.
Brian's here just to hear his own voice. That's the reason Brian.
Yeah.
Contact
Matt-
us
Matt
via
Angel's
DM at Knife Talk Podcast on Instagram. It's that easy.
This has become very meta all of a sudden.
This is
I'm gonna
the
block
whole
Matt
thing's
Angel
great.
real quick.
Matt Angel PBR is trash. You're being blocked.
Matthew Angel might also be Matt the Wangle.
Matt the Wang.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, look who's here. Phil, listen, guys. We have Chris Cash of Mount Phillip Metalworks in the house. That's crazy.
Nice.
If you're listening live, he's got a
Brian Huston.
really awesome he's gonna have a sale at his shop. So go follow him. He's gonna have a sale on Saturday. If you're listening to this on Monday, you're fucked. But yeah, Chris is the man. So this is wild. We're gonna have to really figure this whole out because it's like all these dangling shiny things are in the way.
Yeah, it's a lot of new stuff to get our eyeballs around. But whilst we're talking about having sales,
Combat Abrasives makes the world's best abrasive belts for knife makers. Available in any size at unbelievable prices. Go take a look at combatabrasives.com and get 15% off with promo code KNIFETALK15.
you know, we're
Do
gonna
it now.
we're gonna have to get videos, you know, from our sponsors because otherwise it's just us looking dumb at the camera whilst we're here with the audio. But Combat Abrasives, we all use them. I'm sure most of the people in the chat are using it as well. Make sure you use Knife Talk 15 and get 15% off, which is just hell of a bargain. Hell of a bargain.
I think Brian's in the house actually right now.
Brian House in
Brian
the
House
house.
in the house.
In the house. Jeff, do you want to read out the next question that we have?
Sure. Okay. This one comes from. Wait, hold on a second. My fingers did a little bit of walking. John Rivali says, "Hey man, can I ask you a question? I'm a relatively new maker, and when I'm forging, I seem to get a lot of slag on the metal, decarb, not the British slag. Not the British slag. Ha ha ha. I do brush it off, but is there something I should be doing differently to prevent it from forming? Thanks. Love the show."
So first off, do you know what slag is in Britain?
No. I think it's like a slapper. Is that
Exactly.
like a slapper?
Somebody of very loose morals. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't, have that issue.
You're not a
because I don't forge. So Morocco,
Oh.
maybe this is a good one for you.
Yeah, I would say not allowing your blade to sit and soak at the high temperature, like longer than it needs to, because you're foraging. So you're trying to get work done while it's hot, and you don't need to over soak it unless you're like forge welding or something. That's very different. But if you're just forging blade out of mono steel, all you got to do is just forge it evenly. As the steel cools down, you'll want to start hitting it lighter, which are planishing blows. Jeff can speak to planishing blows, which is kind of a blacksmithing technique, but that also helps break up that forge scale that builds up on the outside of the blade as you forge the blade out. I can't really think of much else other than just to forge evenly on both sides. That way you're breaking off the scale off both sides, as well as planishing blows. At the end of your forging is also another kind of nice chance to, as you're thermal cycling and kind of doing like straightening heat cycles, those are a good chance to kind of get some extra brushing in and breaking off that forge scale as well.
What's that trick where you throw a little bit of water
I
on
don't
the
know
anvil?
that trick. I mean, I'm aware of the trick. I don't do it. I've never done that.
But I mean, the idea is you throw a little. I mean, I've seen it done, and it's very exciting. But you throw a little water on the anvil, and you put the thing down, and it claps, makes this loud explosion. That I'm under the impression that helps take some scale off too.
Yeah, that's a Japanese. Well, I think it's most well known as a Japanese forging technique. But essentially, what they'll do is they'll take their hammer and they'll dip it in the water and then lay it out across the anvil and get a little extra moisture on there, and that water on the surface of the anvil between the hot blade and the force of forging is supposed to, it helps blow off the forge scale. I've never really had an issue with that, so I've never really tried it. It's a cool effect. I mean, it sounds like a gunshot going off. It's wild.
Yeah, it's intense.
But if you got people standing around, make sure they got eye protection on, because when I was actually at the New England School of Metalwork, Nick Rossi did that as part of his demonstration of forging. Ended up hitting a few of the students like in the face, like with the hot scale in the water.
Yep, Chris
Eye
Cash is
protection.
saying
It's
that he's got Ilya in his shop, and he says, I work with a Russian guy that uses that technique every day. I know.
Right.
I know. It's also not necessarily eye protection, but it's penis protection, because if it's for a dick level, you might get it in the cheech. You know what I'm
Are
saying?
you wearing a kilt?
I don't wear a kilt, but if I did, I'd put a cup on too.
Call yourself a knife maker and you don't wear a kilt. No wonder you've never been on Forged in Fire.
I don't have a beard either.
So we've done a bunch of questions for everybody else. Do you think it's time maybe that we could... We need some suspense. So what do you think? Should we have a little quiz again?
Do it.
Let's do it. Okay, who's going to go first, Morocco or Jeff?
Well, he's
Well,
the
I went
winner.
first
He makes
last
the
time.
decisions. You're the champion, so you make the choices.
You know what? I'll go first again. I don't care.
Attaboy.
Okay. Morocco's
Defend
going
that title.
first. If we can ask everybody in the chat, please don't give any answers away unless
Can you
Morocco
just pause the chat?
I don't think I can. I don't think I can.
That's fine. It's fine. I'll ignore them.
Basically, we're going to give Morocco 5 questions. They get progressively harder, but he's got 2 lifelines. So he can either ask the audience, which are the people in the chat, or he can phone a friend, and we can phone somebody live on the show, and hopefully they can help him out. Who knows? Who knows? Let's build a bit of tension. Morocco, are you ready?
Sure.
If soccer is called football in the UK, what is American football called in the UK? Is it A, soccer? Is it B, American soccer? Is it C, American football? Or is it D, sport ball?
I would love for it to be B or D, but I'm pretty sure it's C, American football.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
Correct. 1 out of 1. Well done. Okay. Let's take a breath.
You seem like you're out of breath over that one there, Greg.
I've got a lot of things going on here, believe me. I've got 3 different screens on with 3 different things on, and I'm switching. Oh, crazy. Mareko, are you ready for question number 2?
I am.
A doctor with a PhD is a doctor of what? A. Philosophy. B. Psychology. C. Phrenology. Or D. Physical therapy.
Interesting.
Is it interesting? Is it really interesting?
Interesting. I'm gonna go B, psychology.
You're going with B. The answer is A. Philosophy.
But you
Really?
can have a PhD if you're like an English major.
That's what I was kind of confused by.
I suppose you could
PhD
have
over here
this-
is
is
used
this
as
like-
a very general
Is it like
term.
Polish who wants to be a millionaire?
I suppose you could be a doctor with a PhD in music theory as well.
Yeah.
But in the school of doctors, we're talking, you know. Okay.
Gotcha.
Mareko bowed out after question 1.
Wait, do I get a bonus if I can tell you what phrenology is?
I mean,
Go
you
on,
know
then.
what-
Go on. You go on.
It is. Jeff just gave it away. It's
What
the
is it?
study of the sutures on your head and the bumps and reading all that stuff. It's like astrology, but it's reading your bumpy skull.
Lock it in, Craig. Why
Okay,
why custom says lock it in, Craig.
We're locking it in on 1, but we are going to get to the end just so we'll know if you did get any more. But basically, you got 1 point. That's all you're having. But we are going to rush through the other questions with you. Okay. So,
Why don't you?
attention.
Okay.
Bit of attention. Question number 3.
I'd say that was a lame question.
What's the tallest mountain in Canada?
Oh,
Mount
I'm out.
Tremblant, Mount Logan,
I'm out.
Whistler Mountain, or Blue Mountain?
Oh, I would say Whistler, but that's the only one I've ever heard of.
Fucking hell, you're out again.
Good thing.
It's Mount Logan.
Mount Logan. All
That's
right.
that's who they. I mean, if you want some nerd stuff, that's what they named the Wolverine character after, Mount Logan.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Oh yeah, I guess he is Canadian. The character is
That's from the
Canadian.
comic book. I remember back in the day. Who cares? This knife talk is some
That's
bullshit.
good.
talk.
That's good.
What do you
That's-
mean,
I
who
like
cares?
that.
I put a lot of effort into
I mean,
this.
I'm just
Who
like talking.
cares?
No, and when I say who cares, I mean like I'm bringing up a fucking dumb point about a fucking mountain in Canada. Nobody cares about my stupid point. That's what I'm saying. Who cares what I have to say about a mountain in comic books? Stupid.
Let's go to question 4 anyway, and this is just for shits and giggles now because we all know that Mareko finished on 1 question.
Big fat loser.
What is considered the rarest form of color blindness? Is it blue, red, green, or purple?
I don't know. Red.
That's right.
It's not. It's blue.
I'm not even gonna get the first one right.
It's blue, and it's actually called tritonomaly. Tritonomaly.
No, okay.
People who don't see blue. Apparently, you see blue everywhere. Most people. So if you don't see blue, it's very, very rare.
Interesting.
Okay. And is it interesting? Okay, number 5. How many moon landings have there been? Manned moon landings, sorry.
Right.
The right answer
is boy.
0. It's been fake the whole time.
Fake the whole time. I'm gonna say 3.
Oh, Jesus, you're wrong again. It was
Yeah.
I thought it was
See,
1.
that's why I would have definitely used my my resources on those
Yeah.
last
It
3.
was 6, I'm afraid.
It was 6. Fucking,
so
you're telling me
Mareko
there were 6 landings on the moon?
manned. Yeah, 6 manned. There's 9 Apollo missions. They didn't all make it. There's 9
But-
Apollo missions.
But they
So
went
there's
on the moon?
6 On the moon. On
I
the
was-
moon.
I'm-
This
I'm-
is where people in the chat now start googling this, like saying Craig, you're full of shit. But this is what I
Polish
found these
millionaire.
questions online. So who knows? Who knows? Jeff, are you ready?
Go for it. Polish millionaire.
Okay, we'll stop that. It gets boring very quickly. Jeff, number 1.
Oh, for
What is the
fuck's sake.
scientific name of the kneecap? Is it
All right,
A,
I know it's
foramen magnum? Is it B, femur? Is it C, patella? Or is it D, scapula?
I'm gonna say A.
Fuck's sake.
Is that wrong?
It's too late.
It's extremely wrong. It's extremely wrong.
Well, it's not the scapula, and the femur's in your leg, and the patella is a tendon.
The patella is
That's
your
your knee.
kneecap. It's C, patella.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Jeez,
Well,
I'm working with,
this
I'm working
game
with
was-
dummies here. Don't
Holy
work with
shit, I didn't
animals,
even get a chance
children,
to-
or Morocco and Jeff. I think
I wasn't even gonna use my lifeline. How are you gonna use it? Congratulations, Mareko, you won.
What can I say?
1-0.
The reigning
Fucking
champ.
hell! I'm sorry.
Oh,
I am
man.
sorry. I'm
Let's-
sorry. You know what? I'll tell you who I'm sorry to. I'm sorry to Will Stelter. Because I sent Will Stelter a message saying, we're going to be doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I might need a lifeline.
Okay,
And can
right.
I? He says, well, what time is it going to be around? I'm like, I don't know. And I'm thinking, I'm bugging poor Will Stelter. And I could have called him for fucking patella, but I know he wouldn't have known patella. So I apologize.
Let's zip through them. Let's zip through them anyway. You can still call Will if you need to. This is just for
Jesus.
shits and giggles. We have a winner, which is Morocco. Question number 2. What was the oldest Disney film, Jeff?
I'm going to say Snow White.
Correct. My
Oh,
God. We're
Jesus Christ. Yeah, Rainy Day Forge. Where were you when I needed your help? You fucking guy. These Canadians. They're all big help when they after the fact.
number 3.
Canadians.
What I've spelt that wrong. What is the capital of Indonesia? And don't say I. Don't say I. The capital of Indonesia. Is it A, Jakarta? Is it B, Bandung? C, Medan? Or D, Palembang?
It's A, Jakarta.
It certainly is. You're on a roll now.
Fuck. Yeah,
There's
but
no
I
pressure
lost
on you.
anyway.
There's no pressure on you now, if that's what it is, I think.
I lost anyway.
Number 4. What name represents the letter M in the NATO phonetic alphabet?
M.
Is it Max, Matthew, Mark, or Mike?
Mike.
Are you sure?
Matthew.
Yeah.
You think it's Mike? Correct.
Jesus Christ. If I only fucking called up Will at the beginning. Goddamn
Question number
patella.
5. Question number 5. And if you're in the audience, don't answer, but we do have an audience question coming up in a minute as well, which is fastest fingers first for the audience. So, Jeff, this is your final question.
All right.
I hope you don't know it and you need to ring a friend, because this is a whole bit.
Do you want me to ring a friend? Should we call up Will anyway?
Let's
hang
have
up
a,
on
let's,
him?
let's see. Let's see. Question number 5. In the movie Blade, that was the wrong button, clearly. In the movie Blade Runner, what is the term used for human-like androids? Is it A, replicants? Is it B, cyclones? Is it C, synthetics? Or is it D, which is my favorite, skin jobs?
I bet you like skin jobs. It's replicants. I would have run the whole fucking thing if it was a goddamn patella.
Yeah.
Replicants.
I should have gone second.
Well done.
You
you
would have
would-
won the
you would
whole
have had-
thing. Would
Let's
you got
ring Will.
patella?
Let's ring Will and see if he knew question 1.
Oh, yeah,
Because if so,
Okay. Yeah,
we
you
will
call
then
Will
know.
up and see if you knew it. See
So
if
there's
you-
the question.
Okay.
So let's have a look. Let's see. if
We'll
I can
fake
find
this
him.
whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll fake this whole thing.
Let me find him. Just a second. Where is
And then
he?
hang
Where
up
is he?
on him. And then hang up on him.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hang up. Let me just a second.
Oh, of course.
Delta. Come on.
And we're going to pretend like this is dire peril. Everybody in the audience, we're going to pretend this is peril and I need your help.
Bear with
hopefully
me a
he's-
second.
Hopefully he's not watching live.
He's not watching live.
Delta. Here we go. Accounts Will Stelter. Here we go. This is good radio. This.
Don't worry, everybody in the chat. It'll be fine. He's not listening. He's busy doing something important, and we're going to bother him.
We're ringing Will. We're ringing Will. Ringing.
How funny would that be if you didn't pick up even after he and I went after it a little bit?
I don't think he is picking up. I'll be honest.
Oh,
with
for
you.
fuck's sake.
It's ringing.
God damn it.
He's picked up. He has picked up.
Hello.
Is that Will Stelter?
It is. Howdy, howdy.
Well, do not say fuck or bugger. You are live on the Knife Talk podcast, and we're playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
You know me. I just use those words so much.
Jeff needs your help. Jeff is stuck on $1 million question.
Oh, man.
I'm going to pass this over to Jeff. You're going to have when he starts talking, you've got 30 seconds to answer the question, and then we're out of here. But he needs your help desperately. Jeff, over to you. Jeff, over to you.
Will,
Oh.
I appreciate your call. What is the scientific name of the kneecap? Is it A, foramen magnum, B, femur, C, patella, or D, scapula? This is very important.
It's the patella.
Fuck, you got it.
And he's gone.
Oh no! Oh, there you go. Who wants to be a millionaire?
So,
Stelter's the man. He knew.
so Mareko won.
Right.
But if only
We
Jeff
all
had
win.
made that. If only Jeff had made that phone call beforehand, we would.
I
have seen
know.
a better winner.
Stelter's the man. I'm gonna have to text him now just to let him know.
That we're
You're the
sorry. Yeah.
You're the man. Oh, boy.
Okay. So shall we crack on with more questions? Mareko, do you want to read the next one on the list there?
Yeah, this next one is from Reimer Knives. It says, "Hey man, can I ask you a question? How do you maintain an even dark finish on Boulder Damascus patterns? I etch in coffee after my final finish, and it usually comes out good. Sometimes the finish can be a bit weak and can lighten up after any sanding. Thanks for the great content." All right. First off, I do no sanding after my coffee. I do no sanding. I hardly even touch it with a paper towel. My goal is to pull it out of that coffee, neutralize it in the baking soda water, take a look at it, and it's fine. All I got to do is get a little wax on there, very gently, get some wax on there, call it good, and then sharpen it after that. So if you're doing any sanding on it after, probably didn't set yourself up properly beforehand. You shouldn't be doing any sanding afterward.
Got you. I won't have an answer for that question. Jeff?
I have a question. I'm not going to answer that question. I want a follow-up question. I just noticed, I remember when you first started doing the coffee etches, you were doing them in short bursts. Like when I say short bursts, like half an hour.
Sure.
I've been noticing some people soak it in coffee for overnight.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah. So
you-
that's what I'm doing now too. I do longer soaks in a cold solution. So when I first started doing coffee, I was always doing it hot. And sometimes, but the problem with doing it hot, doing it hot, you can get good results, but they're hit or miss because it's very easy to maybe the solution's too hot or you let it soak for too long and then things start going sideways and the 15 and 20 starts taking on color, the whole thing blacks out. That is not what you want. I discovered accidentally that by soaking in cold instant coffee solution that I can get more consistent results. Every now and then it still comes out kind of funky. It's all right because it doesn't take much to take it back off. It does take time to get it back on, but usually after the second round, sometimes the third round, it looks good. So I've been doing colder with a fresh batch of instant coffee basically every time because honestly, in the whole scheme of the knife making costs, $6 of instant coffee is a super cheap, right? And so I just make a new batch every time. I heat it up to do the mix and then I cool it back down and then I don't put my knife into it until the solution is at least at room temperature or has been allowed to chill down to like refrigerator temperature. I've had good results with either cold coffee coming out of the fridge, getting poured into a container, and then doing it at room temperature, or putting the knife in the coffee in the container in the fridge and letting that do its thing overnight too.
Cool. And you can get 10% off your Nescafe by going to nescafe.com and using Mareko's Coffee Etch as your promo
100%.
code.
That's it.
Jeff, do we have any?
Unsolicited advice.
Yes, we do. Unsolicited advice. I know you didn't ask, or there's all sorts of different ones. At this point, it's just unsolicited advice. This one comes from, and you can send them, you can DM them to us on Instagram, Knife Talk Podcast on Instagram. It's that easy. LS Blade says, I know you didn't ask, but here's an easy way to cut your rhino wet. Hand sanding paper into uniform pieces. Screw a hacksaw blade to a board with washers under the blade to space it off the board, and slide your sandpaper between the blade and the board and pull up. Look at you.
Ah.
That's a good idea. I have a paper cutter, so whatever.
Yeah.
I do
Dull,
too.
it dull scissors and stuff like that, like almost immediately. Yeah. It's
Right.
not the best.
Right. Oh boy, this one comes from Lucas Hansen. I know you didn't ask, but check out your local senior center. No, this isn't a crack at old man Jeff. The senior center near the senior center near me only requires you to be 18 and over to join. They have a full shop with anything you might need as a new maker to get started in your craft. Wood cutoffs that have been discarded from other projects can be salvaged and used for scales. Plus, there's bound to be more unsolicited advice from the actual old timers. So feel free to stop by your I don't know what country this is, because I swear to God, if you show up looking in the dumpster at the senior center in here, they're gonna put the hurt on you. They're gonna put their hands on you. That's the craziest unsolicited advice I've heard of. Definitely sign up to be one of the old. You only have to be 18 and older to be
Go to the senior citizen.
I mean, because what are you here for? I'm here for the wood. Obviously, I'm here for your scraps.
I was too late there with that, and that's what she said. With I'm here for the wood, but hey.
One of the listeners who's in the Instagram in the chat, Ilor Hudiyama, didn't get it right, my man. Says, here's a quick tip: if you have a slight bend after heat treatment, you can fix it by sandblasting. Why are you giggling, you little bastard?
Just saying.
You don't have a problem with it. You don't have a problem with
a slight bend.
You
Just
got
to
a
the
slight
left,
bend.
slightly.
This actually, besides the fact that it's clearly a wiener reference, if you can fix it by sandblasting the inside of the bend so it stretches, you can also fix minor corkscrew bends and other funky mess. And it's great for blasting off hard scale for better belt economy. So sandblasting is your friend.
Yeah. Just before you go any further, Top Dog has just given us a tip in the chat. Getting wood flooring samples for free, and when I first started out, I did that a lot. You can get wood flooring sample whether it's oak or chestnut, all those kinds of things. If you're using solid hardwoods, lots of places will give you free samples, and also kitchen counters as well. So like big thick stuff. So if you're doing hidden tanks, you need something really thick. Most manufacturers of like hardwood kitchen counters, you can send off a few dollars and they'll give you a box full of samples, and they work really well for knife handles too.
Jack Pine Bladeworks says, unsolicited advice, when drilling holes for 3/16 pin stock, use a number 11 drill. Then when using 1/8" pins, use a number 30 bit. They eliminate the need for reaming and sanding down your pins.
Just the emphasis on reaming. It's just.
Well, I did that for you. Here's Entiat River Forge says, hey man, I know you didn't ask, but I heard the advice about using a reamer for handle pin fitment. He said fitment. Let me start that over. I know you didn't ask, but I heard the advice about using a reamer for handle pin fitment and have a quicker method. I primarily use a 3mm pin stock and found that a 31 drill bit fits perfectly. If I'm using a 1/4" lanyard hole, I use an F-size drill bit. These goddamn fucking advice. Here's some advice. Have a good. This is awful. The drill bits are super cheap, like $1 to $3 per. Who gives a fuck? I'm going down to Swift. Don't give me millimeters, guys. No one's writing it down. Swift Steel and Forge says, hey cuties, I know you didn't ask, but when you finish heat treatment in your kiln or forge, have a couple of potatoes wrapped in foil ready to put them in while they cool down. Roast jacket potatoes for dinner.
Good idea.
I like that.
Built Sharp, we were talking about grease on your belts.
Yeah, and bad jokes.
Built Sharp says, grease works great on Scotch-Brite, but I've never used it on a regular belt with any success. It helps prevent orange peel on titanium and leaves a better finish because it's all lubed up and slides around easy.
That's what she said.
All right, very good.
I've been using WD-40 on Scotch-Brite belts recently. We've talked about this a few times, but quite often I'll just forget to do it. But the difference it makes is huge. It's massive. So I've got like an old grey one, which I think is ultra-fine, the Scotch-Brites. Just soak that with WD-40, and it makes a lovely, lovely finish.
There's something cool before we keep going. There's something cool in the chats. We have Bimbro Rocks. Good day from Australia, and right underneath is Andrew Booth saying good evening from the UK. So we're global. This is super cool. So
Yeah.
just
let us know where you're from in the chat as well. That'd
Yeah,
be
let
cool to
us
see where
know.
people are.
And then, so how in the future, how are we going to allow people to we're going to have a stream on YouTube and just do this, or?
Yeah, I think so. So this currently we're on Facebook and on YouTube, but we didn't get the Knife Talk one approved in time. So it'll be approved for next week. So this is on the Chop Knives YouTube. Next week it'll be on somebody from Sweden. That's cool. So next week it'll be on the Knife Talk YouTube channel. But if somebody wants to ring in, they can still do as they always have done. So on Instagram, give us a call. Lines are open if you want to be on the show.
So when you rewatch this, is this going to be rewatched? You're going to be able to rewatch it on YouTube?
Yes, you will be able to rewatch, and I think it'll re-show I'm not sure how live stuff with comments works on YouTube. Maybe some.
Yeah, I was wondering if the comments will be in there too. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, the comments will be there, but I'm not sure what it'll stream in real time. In sync with the show. I'm not sure. Don't know.
We got Australia checking in, Canada, Georgia, Florida, Sweden. The next piece of unsolicited advice comes from Steve Pellegrino. Unsolicited advice for forging ramps this season. I got struck out again. Do not pull out the bulbs. Cut them at the ground level and leave the bulb, or the site you harvested will be depleted next year. Cheers. And then he threw a hot take in. Ramps are overrated. So he threw in the
What
hot
are ramps? What are ramps?
Ramps are like wild garlic. It's kind of like
okay.
Like you have chives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ramps are wild garlic.
Similar
And they're very hot right now, but they're like, I mean, we got a ton of
people from all over the place.
We got a message from we have a message from the services using. We're getting a high five from the service. Restream says we have received 100 messages today with the Restream chat.
Nice.
So you're doing a good job, guys.
Gary from Scotland has said, has anybody tried the Broadback Game Changer belt? What's the Game Changer belt? Do we know what that is?
We'll have to find out next week.
We'll have to find out. Morocco, whilst we're talking about Broadback, tell us what grinder you use on a daily basis.
Back in that room, my grinding room, is where I keep my grinding stuff. And in there is where my Broadback hangs out and lives. And I love the machine. It's a great machine. It's super well built, engineered, designed by two very talented and very smart, actually, engineers and knife makers. The guys at Broadback are super helpful and always up to, their customer service. They're all over it. And, they're just a really great company to have as a sponsor and to work with. And the machine is awesome. I love the flexibility, especially, I guess, as a platform. I love the flexibility of being able to use my own tool arms that I've built myself in the Broadback machine. I think they did a really smart move by not having to lock people in that way. It's also super handy when like I was just grinding on my sword the other day, which now I have to start over on. That has nothing to do with the machine, but it was when I was grinding the bevels of the machine, it was super sweet to be able to lay that thing over and to be able to hold the blade horizontal and draw it along. What?
It's just so many references to penises, basically. But also, we've got some news just in regarding Broadback. So if you were to buy a Broadback, and remember, you can get your discount using Knife Talk 5 or Knife Talk
10.
Knife Talk 10, 10% off. You're also put into a draw because they'll be at Blade this year where they're unveiling new products, which I had a sneaky preview of this week, which are awesome. But they've got new products, but also they're going to be giving away one of their premium grinders to somebody who's in that raffle. So if you buy a grinder from them, make sure you use the discount, but also you've got a chance of winning a second machine at Blade.
That'd be crazy.
Not bad at all. That would be cool. You'd be fully set up, 2 top spec
For
machines.
sure.
That
One
would
is
be
never
pretty
enough.
sweet. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, WIA Knives just says, wow, exactly. So yeah, make sure you get on it. Get your broad back, Knife Talk 10, get your 10% off, and automatically be putting yourself in for a draw to win a second machine at Blade this year, which is very cool.
There you go.
Where were we in the? I say schedule as if we've got a schedule, but
Can
We're
I
black.
read the listener
go ahead.
feedback at some point?
yes, about last week. Do that, please. Yeah.
Yeah, we got we've been getting lots of really great listener feedback, and especially from last week. Matt Yazel says, "Hey guys, I've been listening to the Damn of Steel episode. It's been a lot of fun. Congrats on your achievement in this pursuit. Hard fought and well earned. I'm sure Matt's a good dude. Down the street from me, not too far.
Is that Matt the
Dan-
Wangle?
No, that's Matt
different-
Yazel.
Matt Yazel, sorry.
like Hazel.
Yazel like Hazel. Okay.
Dan Aikman says that was an awesome show. Coulter said, congratulations, guys. That was, at least in my opinion, the best episode of the podcast you ever put out. Games, interviews, laughs, genuine and solid questions. Just perfect. And then OG Kyle Heath says, you guys did a fantastic job of the Damn Steel show. Probably my favorite episode of all time.
Wow.
There you
Wow.
go.
That
And
was.
then,
I'm really pleased with that because we didn't do any sort of testing with that at all, did we? It's the first time we're doing video, and it just really worked. I said time flew by. It just really worked well for us all, and we just had lots of fun. It was really good to do.
you were in like a flow state. I thought you were on like some performance enhancing drugs because you were like perfect. And then we got Andy Operaz says, what an epic episode. The hooks were fierce and hilarious. The guests that dropped in were fire.
In the
So,
comments, I am the Wangle. Guess I'll change my name.
I wonder if he'll change his handle to I am the Wangle.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
here's a little funny feedback. I think it was based on this was from the after show we had a couple weeks ago where you said that you got like did the free knife for the Instagram chef. This Ryan Krist says, well, it finally happened. I had to get an Instagram chef ask for a free knife to help us both promote our brands. I kind of feel like it's an accomplishment. Don't worry, I'm not sending him a knife. What's funny is I will not say who it is, but it happens to be an ex-NFL player who's trying to become a foodie influencer. Keep up the good work, champs. And thanks for keeping us laughing in our shops. And I think I wrote to him, I'm right. I wrote to him, keep grinding and send those invoices, which might be a good mantra.
Yeah.
Keep grinding and send those invoices. Keep billing them, everybody. Keep billing them, everybody.
Yeah. Every week I'm getting influencers saying, yes, send me a knife and I'll make you famous kind of thing. And it's, it never happens. Never happens.
No.
Before we go, shall we take a few more questions? Mareko, if you can read maybe the next one on the list or something. Unfortunately, I don't have the list of questions because I don't have enough screens here to put up the questions.
Yeah.
So-
I got it. This one is from Black Cap Blades. He says, hey man, can I ask you a question? Is there a reason why people who aren't forging in their maker's marks don't always mark both sides of the blade? It seems like a better idea than trying to figure out if there is a correct or incorrect side to mark. So mark both sides instead of trying to decide.
Yeah, we talked
Which
about that in
side
the
to
past,
choose
haven't
on.
we? So there's the logo side and what they call the shy side, and I think traditionally it was for sort of presentations. So if you go to a knife show, you generally see people's knives all facing the same direction and the logo on one side. Quite obvious why you wouldn't do it if you're stamping in your logos because it's going to deform the blades and all sorts. But we talked about this in the past because I think the three of us, we've been, fortunate enough to have, sort of chefs who may be on TV, that kind of thing, using our blades. And it does make sense to have a logo on both sides because I'm thinking of, if you want your knives to be on TV and seeing people see the logo, that kind of thing, it makes sense to have it on both sides because really they're going to be shooting the image of the outside of the knife where you don't have the logo. So it does make sense to have it on both. But I think it's just tradition, really. I always put mine with the pointy side the pointy. I'm a knife maker. I call it the pointy side. To the left. When you take forward, saying it would take twice as long. You need a laser, mate. You need a laser. It takes seconds.
You can't
Um,
stamp both sides. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
you couldn't
mean,
stamp both sides.
I
Yeah,
mean-
definitely you couldn't. But I think it's tradition. That's the reason. I mean, Jeff, what do you think? Why?
I can't believe you like tradition. I thought you hate tradition. What did you say? Tradition is what? What was that expression we heard a while ago? Tradition is like,
It's the death of creativity.
oh, the death of creativity. I'll tell you, this is very. I've always put it on the right side because when I was a kid, my dad always used to say, always step with your right foot first. And here's what I've learned. The knives I've been making for right-handed people, when they put the knife down, the right side is facing up. And I know that because I get messages, people saying, I saw your knife on America's Test Kitchen, in the new, in one of the latest.
Ooh.
Hey, listen, and in regards to whether it matters or not, whether or not they see it or not, I had my knife this week was on Regis and not Regis and Kelly anymore. It's Kelly and that dumb fuck
Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest, right? Ryan Seacrest and Kelly. So my knife was on that, but nobody saw it because it's like, nobody cares. But when I was on the knife I had on the same knife was no, a different knife was on Jacques Pepin. He's right-handed, so when he puts it down, he puts it inside. He puts it on the inside, so then you can see the knife. You can see the touch mark. So I stay with the right side. I don't give a shit about it. Whatchamacallit. But it does make you say, I mean, Ryan Seacrest and Kelly is one of the biggest morning shows in the United States. Nobody called me on that. I just happened to know because the person who was on it was there. So don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe of I'm going to be on these TV shows and you're going to get these phone calls. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been putting or not always put my maker's mark on the right side. I used to always put it on the left side, and a lot of makers that I was friends with when I first started out was like, that's the presentation side. The presentation side. Whatever the hell that means. Like, but I did come to the realization that most people are right-handed, and when they lay their knife down, this is from my own experience. Using a knife, I lay the knife down to grab something or do something else. The right side of the blade is facing out, and I realized if for whatever reason, if it happens to be photographed for a newspaper or magazine or happens to be on TV, there might be a chance that somebody might catch it. Now, I would say for somebody like Craig and Jeff who have names for their knives, maybe you put the company brand name on one side, but then you put like El Capitan on the left side. So that way, either way it gets laid down. Maybe somebody sees El Capitan chef's knife. They're like, what the hell? They can Google that and say, what the hell is that? And then they'll find you that way too. Instead of having this, because I think it would look ridiculous to have the exact same maker's mark on both sides. To me, that would say like, you didn't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know what to do, so you just did it on both sides. It seems very thoughtless and unintentional. And so, but if you have names for your work, I think it totally makes sense to put your maker's mark on one side and then the name on the other side.
Yeah.
But
What I've done in
that's
the
just my
past
take.
is put my logo on one side and on the other side then reference the steel, the type of steel
Sure.
in small letters. But what I found is it looks almost like a factory knife then. It doesn't necessarily look handmade. And that's a sort of something that I'm always sort of on the edge with, whether to do certain things, whether it looks too professional or whether you want to dial it back, which is ridiculous because you want it to be as good as possible. But, things like that don't really make a difference to the function of the knife. But yeah, it's just, that is a weird thing, whether you want things to look as if it's manufactured or whether you want things to look handmade. And you see some people doing, things. People will, some people will take their, their finishes to like 320 and stop. And, for them, that's the differentiator between handmade and something that's made, polished in a factory. And I can sort of see that, but I personally, I think they're cutting corners there. But, that is a weird one. So, yeah, I suppose I'm saying this to people in the chat there. Is there things that you don't do which you think could show the knife as not being handmade? It's strange. I don't quite know how to word this because I've had a drink. But yeah, is there maybe final flourishes that you want to do, but you think, well, if I do that, it may necessarily won't look so handmade. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's
Two things. One is when you read from left to right. So if you're putting it on the left side, you're reading the name from the front to the back. So you're losing the flow of the knife. When I've put on different sides of the knife, and when I'm reading it. If you do it the wrong other way, it looks weird because your eye is not going out; it's coming back in.
yeah.
I don't like that. And
Dustin,
number 2 is
sorry, Dustin. I think you mean Jimpin with a J, not Gimpin. Maybe Gimpin's very different.
yeah, gimping is very different. And in regards to factory versus non-factory, I just got my Resolute Mark III from Aaron Goff. That thing is better than you think. His execution is absurd. It's unbelievable. It makes you want to just like, all right, I'm going to start making like arrows or something like that, something else. They're so well, they're so well put together, but it makes me realize personally, I want to see a little bit more humanity for me, for my stuff. But like, it is extraordinary. It does not look like a guy put it together.
Aaron's it's all he just presses print. It's all machines.
Right.
There's no work involved there. He just press it. It's easy. It's easy what he does.
Now I know why you're off the XYZ podcast.
To be fair, I'm joking. Aaron's work is he takes everything to the nth degree. It's incredible precision and attention to detail is incredible. So that was a flippant joke. I'm afraid.
Of course.
Gary has said selling the logo as an NFT. Let's not go there, Gary. Let's not go there.
I don't even understand any of that stuff. This isn't the handmade podcast. If we want to talk about NFTs, let's call Paul Pinto up. Why don't you call Paul Pinto up? That would be the thing. Call Paul Pinto up and have him explain it, and then you can hang up on him when he picks up.
He's there in his TikTok leggings, isn't he? You know, he's sitting at home.
Good old TikTok leggings.
Going through TikTok. We know what's going on. Top Dog has got another question. I've started forging more than stock removal at the moment. I like the textured finish, but man, I wish I started doing this when I was a younger man. So to the old man of the group, Jeff, is this why you do mainly stock removal?
No, not at all. I would rather forge everything. I would rather forge everything, but my customers like, clean lines. They don't like the forged scale. They're intimidated by it, and they like stainless steel.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough. Okay, I think we're getting to that point of the show where maybe we need to just chill out a little bit. So, what we want to happen this week? Mareko, let's start with you. What's the big dream for the week?
The big dream for the week is to actually get my grinding room kind of put back together. I had to pull everything off the walls for all that electrical work that was going on. We got our green sticker, which lets us move forward. So I got to get everything put back together and get back to work. I have a kind of like another video thing I want to do around making Damascus. So I'm going to get started filming that and kind of scripting that. I keep calling it scripting, but it's like just laying it out, like figuring out how I'm going to do the shots and everything. Hopefully that gets going next week, as well as also just standard knife work, getting knives put together and sent out still. And just work more than anything, just working.
Cool. Jeff, hopes and dreams for the week.
I spent all week hand sanding. I hand sanded 21 knives, and they all look good, and I'm glad I'm done. And next week I'm putting them all together, and then I'm hoping that's going to be a big, getting those finished is going to be huge, because we want to start making forks. We want to start making knives we want to make. We're going to start doing more knives like the one that just went out to Elon Hall. We're going to be doing more made knives, and we're going to sell them, as they come out instead of the lead times and stuff like that. We're kind of closing. I'm closing everything up, which is really, really nice. And then,
Hand
oh
sanding-
yeah,
It's
and
hand
then
sanding 21 blades.
yeah,
Must have an arm like a hooker's elbow. But if
like
your
a
hands,
hooker's elbow. What do you mean like a hooker's elbow? How good
you
is
can
is a
imagine,
hooker's elbow
it's the same,
good?
it's the same action.
I see.
I was wondering what made your hand sanding easy. Any tips there?
I would say that if it wasn't for Indonesia USA's Rhino Wet Red Line, I'd be up the creek. And if you go to Texas Farrier Supply and get some Rhino Wet, get some 220, get some 400, 800, 1000 grit, and you put in promo code Knife Talk 10, you're going to get 10% off your entire order from Texas Farrier Supply. Evan and the guys have lots of stuff. They have epoxy, they have knife supplies, they have everything you're going to need to make yourself squared away. But the Red Line Rhino Wet, everybody who gets it says, "Why did I wait? Why did I wait?" And it's just exceptional. I cruised through all these different. I mean, if it wasn't for the Rhino Wet, I'd been sunk. I'd have been super sunk. So go get yourself 10% off with Knife Talk 10. But back to so a week from now, I will have had my doctor's appointment. So if I sound a little bit rough around the edges, it might be because I've actually gotten the hook. We'll find out. So I've been fasting. I haven't had booze in almost 6 weeks. I haven't been eating dairy. I've been losing weight. I've been like, I want to get a full report. So next Friday morning, I'll have my blood work done and everything squared away. I do not know if he's going to stick a finger up my ass, but I'm assuming if not when, why not? What's wrong? Well, you don't like me or something?
It was just a request that you've made. Okay.
I mean, what did I do something wrong? Or is this,
have you had your second injection yet? By the way, you too.
I have.
Oh, Mareko, have you had your second one?
Yep.
Wow.
2 weeks ago.
Geez, over here in Europe, they're saying 6 to 8 weeks is the best time, to wait between the first and second.
6 to 8 weeks.
Whether they're saying that just to delay things, they've got more time, I don't know. But that's what they're advising. Yeah. I've got my first one the end of next week anyway.
When I was talking to Tomer, he was saying in Barcelona, it's like he doesn't think he's going to get it until September. It's crazy over there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't be
pouring
getting
another beer.
I shouldn't be getting mine yet, but I just made the phone call to the doctor on the off chance, and he was like, "Well, yeah, we'll stick your name down." So whether we're jumping the queue, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they're doing sort of over 50s at the moment here in France. But the uptake is so little that there's always doses available for people who want it because most of the French are turning it down, which is bonkers.
Now I know why you don't dye your hair anymore. You slip into that.
Just to get
slip into that. You
exactly
slip into that over 50 crowd.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Okay. So my dream for the week is I've got 2 knives that I want to finish this weekend, so they'll be available from Monday, which are the Alien DNA and the Super Light. Then I talked earlier about doing a live with a chef that I've supplied a bunch of knives for. I've never done that before, and I think it's a good way of sort of getting across to a different audience. He's quite a well-known chef, so a lot of other restaurants and chefs are following him, who are my sort of core customers. So it makes sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And that's pretty much it. I'll be starting on another restaurant order on Tuesday. That's scheduled for. And I've got I've scheduled the time to do another one-off to sell for the following Monday. And as everything I do at the moment has the one-offs all have a theme. So after these 2, the next one is called Burgundy, after the wine. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on sort of outside of knives. So it's difficult for me to get time in the shop at the moment, but that's going to be changing in September. Thankfully, because the kids will be in school, which is nice. So yeah, there's a lot going on. It's become a new part of the week for me. Prep for this podcast, because we're changing up the podcast every week at the moment, it seems like, which is really good. It keeps it fresh and exciting. So hopefully you've all enjoyed this version of the show. This will be live as an audio podcast again on Monday as normal. But just before we go, we've got a hot take here as well. Jeff carries this podcast with his foul language and sarcastic comments. I'm with you, Jeff.
See, I'm with
Wow.
you is in quotes, so obviously that's sarcastic. So he's being sarcastic.
But I think that's a show. So thank you all very much for listening. This will be live on Monday. Do you know what? We didn't have a single live call in this week on Instagram.
We did. We had Will. We hung up on him.
But we called him. So yeah, that was a bit different for us. But anyway,
This is also, we're gonna have to get used to seeing each other, and this is. There's so much to look at. It kind of gonna fuck
it
me up a little
is. There's a lot of bells and whistles going on here. So yeah, those guys who are watching live, you get to see, just the preview window that we see, but we see a bunch of other stuff around, including all the chat. I think Robert is going to ask you out any second, Jeff. I think he's wondering what you're up to tomorrow night, maybe.
Who wants your address?
But hey,
Your shoe size.
that's what she said.
Chris Cash of the Axe and Iron podcast stuck around for the whole goddamn show. I'm stunned. I'm stupefied. Chris is the man. I love Chris Cash. If you guys are in the United States, all right, we're gonna pip out Chris. If you're in the United States and you're looking for tools, you're looking for anvils, if you're looking for power hammers, if you're looking for drifts and drill presses, if you're looking for real shit, he's the fucking dude. If you need something used or old, he's the guy. Mount Phillip Metalworks.
Used or old?
Yeah. He's a real
You
slapper.
pimping yourself out?
How dare you, sir? How dare
Right,
you.
that's the show. Thank you all for listening, and for those in the know, we may speak to you soon.
This show is brought to you by The Makery, the podcast network for makers.
You're the fucking man.
Well,
Craig, you're the
Nice.
fucking man.
That went surprisingly well.
Super smooth.
You're
Dude,
the
I was
fucking
waiting for
man.
you to pull that tiny keg over and just take a drink off the tiny keg. You got to do that
Next week, I'll
sometime.
do that next week. Yeah.
Craig.
or just run a hose from it and do a keg bong. Yeah.
But it's
Cheers.
Craig,
because
you are the fucking man. You're the
Venus-
fucking man.
we get problems every week with Squadcast with connection issues. This week we're doing live video.
Right.
We're also getting a stream of the chat, and that's worked perfectly well. And we
Yeah.
haven't had a single hiccup.
Dude, you're the fucking man. You
No.
made this look so pro.
It's not me. It's the
inc-
software. It's phenomenal. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
but
it.
you press the buttons to do the things. I'm not doing any of that.
No, it's all good.
I can't do that.
No.
It's all good.
I
So,
can't
so
either.
what do we think? Shall we put this keep this live on YouTube as an episode each week, and we put the podcast live each week? Then, but I mean, I assume we're putting the audio every Monday live anyway, which we always have done. But do
Right.
we also put this live as a show on? Do we wait till Monday? That's the thing now. I don't know.
I don't
got
know.
ya.
I mean,
Hmm.
it's up to you. I mean, I don't know. Can you hold it off? Can you hold it off to be put on till Monday?
I don't know. I think so. I think so.
Because
that's
the
Because
audience wants you to keep it live.
keep it live on YouTube.
I think
Yeah.
that people who listen to podcasts don't watch YouTube. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I
Maybe
mean, I wouldn't watch. I don't necessarily know if I'd watch.
Hmm.
I'd wait till Monday because somebody also wrote, what am I gonna listen to on Monday now?
That's true. Yeah.
What's
But
your
I mean,
problem?
we've had 40 people, doing this live.
Solid.
That's but
Right.
that's nothing like the audience that we get, But so obviously it's still going
Sure.
live on Monday. That's the core audience. But whether we put this video live now as well on Monday, I don't know.
When-
We're being told, somebody in the chat said we can unlist it until Monday, so this wouldn't come out until the audio's up anyway.
I think that would be a good move. That's what Joe wrote when he was doing his live YouTube podcasts. He would cut it and then and then it wouldn't go live until the podcast actually had been edited, the intros and outros and all the advertisements been added. And then when that was launched, then he would make the video available too.
Right. Okay.
This is amazing.
It's
It
worked
looks
really.
good.
In
It
fact,
looks good. It sounds good.
I'd say this has worked better than it did with the Dharma Steel software, because this spits out automatically to YouTube, to Facebook. The people watching haven't had to log in any way. They literally just click the link and then they're away.
Right.
Somebody's made a point there about we need to announce this better. We purposely
Well,
didn't, because this is the
just
first.
happened.
We just needed to make it work, and now we know it works. We certainly can do. Gary, get that YouTube paper. There's not much YouTube paper, believe me.
More.
We've got a call. Should we take the call?
Yeah, of course. I hope it's Stelter.
Josh? Hello, Josh. Can you hear me?
What's up?
Josh, we finished the show. We finished the show, man.
You
Fucking
doing?
late, bro.
I just saw that you finished it. That's why I'm calling. I didn't want to be on there.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, what do you have to
fair.
say?
Hey,
What
I
do you
don't
have
have
to say for-
I don't have any. Go ahead.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, I just called to say hi to you guys. I don't have any specific question or anything, but I just wanted to say what's up, and hope you guys have a good weekend and don't work too hard or any of that BS.
Oh,
What a guy.
I think
What
we're
a
all
guy.
working.
Very
We're all
sweet.
working this weekend, unfortunately. So what are you up to? What's the time there, Josh? Anyway, because you're way behind me.
It's 4:45 here.
AM,
PM.
PM. Okay.
Ohio time.
Sorry. I'm all over
Yeah.
but we're in so many different time zones and stuff. So what you got planned for the weekend?
Nothing actually. I got my second.
Oh, baby. It never gets old. It never gets old. The king is back. The king is still here. The king is still here.
He was
Go to the
waiting.
beach this weekend. I'm not working.
I think
this
he was
weekend.
waiting for that. Surely, he
Sure.
was waiting for that. He
Here
gave me two
comes the
opportunities
hook.
not to.
Man, it never fails. The hook is good. There it is. The fans love it.
An
Matt
after-show
Wangle
hook.
says, there it is. Here comes the hook.
Matt the Wangle.
Robert Baker says, here comes the hook in 3, 2. So funny.
What I'm really enjoying is the chat, seeing people being able to chat to us, but
Right.
it is a huge distraction as well. So yeah, it's going to take a while to get used to that. Definitely.
You know what? We're gonna work it out, like we work everything out.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
gonna
for
be
sure.
fine. It sounded good. You know, the one thing I didn't have that I was used to in Squadcast is I can see the time, how long we've been doing it. That's the only thing, but I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah. Oh, I do
know.
see that. So do you not see in the top left? You don't see the time and the amount of viewers. Or is that
You
just
see
for
the
me?
amount of viewers. That's
You don't
it.
You don't see
It's
the time.
been the amount of viewers has been good. It's been better than Instagram. It's been like 38, between around 40 the whole episode.
Yeah, for the whole episode. Like I said, we didn't really promote this much at all. You know, literally 5 minutes before going live. So
No.
no. Oh well.
You're the
my
man.
biggest worry is Morocco's connection, whether that was going to hold out, and it's held out like perfectly well. So we know we're all good.
You look good in that shop too. Did you get a haircut?
No.
You
wanna
didn't
see
get a
the
haircut?
Craziness? No.
Oh, I figured
You
you
ready
cut
for
all your
this?
hair.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
No, it's well lit as well. Looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks good in there.
Looks good. Yeah. So I'm starting my shop this week now. In the new house. So I've got to. There's walls going up, and I'm dividing it into. Basically, I've been wondering how I'm going to split up, certain machines and all that kind of. Because I want a dirty space and a clean space. It turns out I'm going to get 3 spaces now. So I'm going to get the dirty space, which is the grinding. Then the clean space, which is going to have the CNC and the laser and all the clean electronic-y stuff, and maybe like the hand sanding bits and all that kind of stuff. But then I'm also having the mezzanine, and up there will be all the stuff for the show. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's going to be the mezzanine is going to be for the
the fun stuff.
it's going to be for the podcast.
Well, for the podcast and just for my general sort of computery stuff, and guitars and all that kind of stuff up there. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Boxy,
Good
now
move.
you are basically E-men Twitch streamers. I don't know what any of that means. E-men Twitch streamers. We'll take that. And be it. So I think what we need to do now is speak to our current sponsors and get them maybe to see if they've got any ads or whether they want to record themselves talking, because it's a bit weird when we play like a jingle for their ad and when it's just us looking at the screen. It's a little bit
What
weird.
about like some banners? Can we just have banners?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could just put a banner up.
'Cause you could just put a banner on like the bottom corner of the background or something.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, and we could
I
have the
think
promo code on screen then as well. Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm very last week was so much fun that I was like, it's too bad it's going. Too bad we're stopping. I feel like we're going to keep going, and it was really so much fun. And this is great. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to get more comfortable with it. But
we normally have like our structure, don't we? We normally do our intros, questions, then tips, mix it in with sponsors, and then we'll do our our dreams for the week. We sort of lost our way structure-wise today, which isn't a bad thing anyway, I don't think. But I think it's just because there is literally so much going on. But that could be,
but we could be
good thing in
loose.
itself. Yeah,
I mean, we have so much. We didn't hit everything anyway.
No.
We'll be loose, and I like the idea of having the chat people put in questions.
Yeah,
I like the idea of interacting directly with the people in the chat. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. What they're saying, we need to get Brian to make some video spots to complement his voiceovers.
He's busy. Brian's busy.
Yeah, he's got plenty on.
He's busy.
Boxy
But I
tells
love
to
it.
Google e-girls. It's probably not a good thing to do.
Yeah, seriously.
I can't imagine what it is, but I don't think it's a good thing. Yeah.
So you can't pull in one of these chat people, right?
I can't, but what I can do is
send a link.
I could send the link because there's no login involved. As soon as they hit the link, they're in the chat. Could do that, I suppose. Yeah, that was nice about Hopin, wasn't it? Just being able to drag people in, and they were in the show with us. That was nice.
Would be great to get I know we said we'd get Quentin on. It'd be great to do now we can do interviews with people.
We can get up to 10 guests in this, so we could. It could be that would be difficult to do because room of 10 people chatting is a nightmare. But
what you could do is we could have some sort of like a prize where you could be in the live studio audience, and then you get a link, and then you just mute them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's tons of great ideas.
Plenty we could do. David is saying, Jeff, your daughter's bass is awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. Right. I think that's a show. Should we end it on that because we're getting to the end of the night. But anyway, thank you. Lovely to speak to you both again.
Congratulations.
Do you know what I'm just thinking now? What we can do, because we've got the ability to pull up pictures and videos, that kind of thing. Not that I think we should be rating people's work or anything, but I think if people have got like a charity knife or something like that, we could always pull up a picture and we could maybe pimp it out a little bit. Yeah, that could maybe work.
I'm amazed. This is amazing. You've done a great job. Great job.
Cool.
Thank you.
It worked. That's the main thing. Right. Thank you all for watching. We still got 38 people watching, and we're just talking literally shit at the moment. But anyway, thank you all. I shall speak to you all very soon. Cheers. Mareko and Jeff, when you leave, if you can just keep open your browsers just for a little bit, because it's going to send me the audio and stuff like that.
So you want us to what do you want us to do?
Just like you did with Squadcast. So when you finish, just leave your browser open for just 10 minutes while you tidy up whatever you need to do, and it'll whiz over that audio to me then automatically. You don't need to do anything. Just leave your browser open.
So we do press leave though.
Yeah, press leave, then just leave it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Very cool.
Thank you all for
Very
watching.
good.